Hello, and welcome to this Thrive Today series on how do the relational skills address my biggest problems. In this series, we're just taking a look at some common problems that so many of us face in everyday life and having conversations about how the relational skills can actually be a real big game changer in working through these problems that we face. My name is Christy Harang, and on behalf of the Thrive Today team, I'm so glad to have you with us for this segment. And we are talking today about how the relational skills can help me get unstuck in my healing journey. And so Chris Corsi is going to be joining us, our president and co-founder, for a conversation about this topic. Chris, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Christy, it's great to be here. I'm excited for our time together.
Yeah, this is a really cool conversation that we're having today, because the reality is, right, we all need healing at some point or another from wounds of the past or trauma. There's just pain that exists in our lives that we want to get healed from. But Chris, I think we've all faced times where we just feel stuck or like we don't really know what to do to keep moving forward in our healing journey. So as someone with such a long history of working with people dealing with trauma and pain, can you just give us an overview of the benefits the relational skills can offer for somebody who's feeling stuck in their own journey?
Such a good question, Christy, because anyone who's been around for a while in the healing journey just knows how hard it is to just try to work through hard stuff that's robbing our life, robbing our relationships. And, there's a lot of resources out there. There's no shortage of springs in this desert. However, some of them are more drinkable than others. And why I'm excited about the relational skills is because, our brain, we now know the brain works a specific way. We know that there's different levels of processing that happen in the brain. And when I don't get what I need for where I'm stuck, oftentimes I'm actually more thirsty. I'm actually not getting what I need to be able to move forward. And so I'm excited about relational skills because here are the skills that our brain needs to be able to work the way that God intended us to work. And there's what we call 19 relational skills. So these are skills that ideally we learn early in life. And what they do is they help our brain to work the way God designed it. It helps us to recover when things go wrong, and it helps us to keep our relationships intact so that we stay connected even under difficult circumstances. And so relational skills really help us to resolve pain. And so there's a time where we need some joy, right? That would be a relational skill we can work on. And joy gives us strength to navigate the hard stuff. There's a time we just, we need to rest and we need to be able to breathe and take a time out. That's an important relational skill. And so as I found, as people start to learn these relational skills, one, they actually help prevent further trauma. And so as I learn these relational skills, I'm able to better stay relational when things go wrong. I'm better able to take care of myself as well as take care of people around me. And so when I'm stuck, oftentimes my brain just doesn't have what it needs. And so we can practice relational skills. We can learn relational skills so that we can use these skills when we're by ourselves, we're alone, or we can use these skills when we interact with the living God. Or these are skills we also can learn, when used with our people, with our family, or with our community and our network. So one example, Christy, that came up for me as I thought about this time and how relational skills are missing is we now know, as it's been reported, that last year was the worst year for drug overdoses and deaths. Not only was it the worst year on record, but it was 30% higher than previous years. So what that tells us is people are hurting, people are struggling, and at the end of the day, our brain will just use whatever mechanisms it's learned, good, bad, or ugly. And so the good news is learning relational skills helps to disarm pain, and it helps to navigate broken relationships. It helps to deal with addictive behaviors or correct unwanted habits. At the end of the day, relational skills really help us to be the people that God designed us to be and to know what we need when. And Christy, that's good news for all of us who have, we all have our pain. We all have our story of some of the hard things that's happened in our lives. And the good news is there is hope, that there's actually specific skills we can learn that will help us recover, as well as help us to stay relational and keep our relationships intact, even when things go wrong.
That's really powerful. And I like what you said about, helping us to become more aware of what we need when, because you said in the beginning, there's not a shortage of tools out there to help people. But would you say the relational skills are going to enable us to be better in touch with what we need, so that whatever skill or whatever tool we do use, it can actually work and be effective? Because we might have some great tools, but they just it may not be the right time to use them. We might be using the wrong tool at the wrong time or things like that.
Yeah, that's huge, Christy. I mean, knowing what tool is needed when is life-changing. And so I'm always excited when I see people learning relational skills, because I know they're also learning the lens that helps them to know, what do I need here? Or I'm sitting with my friend and she's in a lot of pain. What can I do? These are the skills that ultimately help us know what to do, whether it's a good day or a hard day. And that's a very hopeful message for us.
That's really helpful. So can you give us maybe just a really quick example of a time where you saw the relational skills help someone who is stuck in a place and the skills got them unstuck?
Yeah, so I had a friend, she came to me years ago. She had been a Christian for most of her life. She was connected in a church, but her pain was loud. She had a hard time making relationships work. She had been through lots of counseling, good counselors, loving counselors, but at the end of the day, she still felt like she was sinking and drowning. So she came to me highly motivated and just wanted to be able to get her feet under her, so to speak, so that she can be the person that she knew God designed her to be. And her pain and her circumstances were she felt like robbing her from being that person. So it was such a joy to be able to walk alongside of my friend as she started to learn relational skills. There were things that I was able to help her start practicing. She actually had a small group she started so that they could start practicing relational skills. So she learned, one of the things that happened is she learned quiet. She learned to rest, which was something she'd never been able to do. This helped her to recognize the moment she just needed to pause instead of trying to keep herself busy or run from a feeling she didn't want to manage. She learned to not only start some joy, but to hold on to joy. I can remember starting to see her smile. Like when we would meet, she started to smile. And I thought, this is amazing. I've never really seen her smile before. So I thought that was wonderful. And she started to find Jesus with her on the good times, but also in some of the hard times and some of her life pain. She found that Jesus was there. She was able to connect with him and get healing that she needed. And this brought hope. She used to kind of overwhelm everybody when she would interact with them. So she started to recognize when people needed a breather, and she could back off, or she could turn it down, or she could, use her words and share her observations. She was really starting to build a lot of trust in her relationships because she didn't run them over. They didn't feel like roadkill as they used to when she would interact with them. And she also learned to recover from big feelings, Christy. So she learned this return to joy skill with negative emotions. So instead of feeling like she's drowning in hopeless despair, she started to learn to recover. She learned to stay relational, and she worked on her maturity, and she started to blossom. So these were all just a few of the changes I saw in her. And it was really a pretty remarkable transformation to watch her go from point A to point B. And it didn't mean that life was easy for her, but what it meant was she was now equipped to better navigate the ups and the downs of life. And to this day, she's a tree planted by rivers of living water.
Oh, that's a really great story. I love that. And it is encouraging because we've heard so many stories of people that have had really big life change impact, especially in places where they were stuck for a long amount of time. And the relational skills were the thing that really made the difference for them. So like in this woman you shared about. So if you are inspired and you want to know, how do I start my journey, or what do I do to get more of these relational skills in my life? Just want to give a couple quick resources. The first is, if you have not already seen it, please check out Chris's book, The Joy Switch. This goes over how to turn on the relational part of our brain and get that going. It has exercises in the book. It's an easy read. And this is really a great first step to getting introduced to the relational skills. So we highly recommend that. And then we also have our online courses. You can go to thrivetoday.thinkific.com/collections or thrivetoday.org/online courses. Both will eventually get you here. But these are great courses that Chris developed that will help you develop skills. And so I would recommend starting out with one of our Skill Zero courses, and Chris will be your coach through these courses and help you learn some practices, some exercises that you can start doing to build your own relational skills. And you'll begin to see the difference slowly but surely in your own life. And of course, we have so many resources available at thrivetoday.org. So you can take a look at our website, just look around, see what we have to offer. And if you need any help figuring out what is the best resource for you, you can always email us at info@thrivetoday.org. So we thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to providing you with more resources so that you can develop your own relational skills, you can thrive in life, you can get unstuck in your healing, and continue to grow. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you again at another Thrive Today event or video or online course. Bye-bye.